Hi, it's Rich Tarani. Thanks for watching TMC Net's Editor's Day, Santa Clara 2015. On our program is Shaheen Peruz. He is with Emruz. Shaheen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rich. It's a pleasure to be here.
Really love having you here. Known you for a long time. You've got this new company, which we all want to know about. So tell me about Emruz.
So I've spent the last 15, almost 20 years working as a CTO in the cloud space and helping the companies I worked with directly succeed in the cloud, break into the cloud, come up with a lot of innovation. And I came to realize in interacting with our customers, the enterprise, that there's a lot of help that can be done in the cloud space with cloud service providers, with enterprises wanting to consume cloud. So I launched Emruz as a consulting company that helps other organizations learn how to consume cloud, learn how to put it in a box, and identify what cloud actually means for them. So I've spent now the last 6 months or so building up the business and have been engaged in multiple, a combination of things. One of them is on the managed consulting side, which is helping companies fix their business process. The other is in the cloud service providers, helping them to decide how to go to market with particular things. And one of the key lacking things that I see is automation becomes a afterthought as opposed to a forethought when developing the cloud services. So I go in and help to determine how to build scale in the business they've already got and how to get it to market and how to make it be the most reliable cloud they can with security in mind.
So how to spool up new machines and drop off new machines as
Right.
needed, adding demand and making that an automated process so it's more efficient in terms of not adding costs that you don't need and things like that, right?
Yep. So historically, when you look at infrastructure, it's very easy as in an IT world where you would do things in a stair-step function.
Sure.
So as business comes, you buy new infrastructure, you add capabilities, you add people, and you have this financial stair-step function. When you're looking at annuity model or subscription computing, which is what all these cloud service providers are trying to get into, the stair-step function is very hard to align with your costs. With the way your revenues are coming in. So what I do is I help them to determine what the best path is with automation to reduce the amount of resources required to implement, to manage, to onboard new customers, and therefore make their costs come better into line with the revenue model that they're putting in place.
And are we talking about across the entire spectrum of cloud providers, from voice services to payroll, to everything?
It's been more SaaS companies and infrastructure as a service companies. And a lot of the infrastructure as a service players are really looking to get into the hybrid world and manage on-premise infrastructure
Sure.
as well as cloud. So that's actually been a big focus of late, where they have some of their cloud business in line and understand what they want to do and need a little bit of help with the automation and onboarding, but really figuring out how to bridge or cross the chasm into the on-premise infrastructure is where I come in and help them.
Wow. Okay, so that's a huge, right? The hybrid,
Yep.
the hybrid cloud is a big deal. Now, what about cross-cloud deployments and things like that? Is that something that you're focusing on as well?
So hybrid, to me, is three things. It's what you have in a cloud provider. It may be and we'll call that pseudo-public. So some of the cloud service, if you look at Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, I call those public clouds. There's no confusion there. A lot of the service providers are trying to build a hosted private cloud where there is some sort of isolation, there is some control and security model that constrains you from bleeding over into other clients more so than the public clouds do, and there is tighter connectivity within your infrastructure to that cloud. So that's the other realm. And the last is you build virtualization in-house and put some cloud architecture on top of it, whether it's VMware or OpenStack. And where the market is going is there's an awful lot of infrastructure in the Fortune 500 world that isn't going to make it to the public cloud. So there has to be this bridge between what's on-prem, what's in this mid-tier or hosted private cloud, and then finally what's in the public cloud. Because they all consume public cloud, and they want to be able to manage it all in a single pane of glass.
Now, there are many enterprises out there that just want to deploy their own private cloud. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you've been hearing a lot about, or have you been hearing from those vendors, and can you help them?
I recently did a management consulting engagement with a company, very large company, about 150,000 employees, and they're looking to right-size their staffing model, right-size their infrastructure and their spend, and I came in to assess their IT effectively, and they were only about 10% virtualized and have a total of about 10,000 servers. So there was a company that the first step for them is build virtualization and cloud internal and start taking advantage of the infrastructure scale that you can. There's significant cost savings in the model I laid out for them, which would help them to, they had many servers that were consuming 10% CPU, whereas 20 or 30 of those servers could fit on one virtual ESX box or whatever cloud architecture they would choose. And so the first step is start consuming cloud internally, and as much as you can. And the market is a little hesitant to call that private cloud because to some people it's just virtualization. Tomato, tomato. I'll call it private cloud for the sake of this conversation. So get your private cloud going. Then start consuming services in a public cloud for those things that make sense, and start consuming SaaS for other things that make sense. You wouldn't today, with Salesforce and the scale they have, and with other CRM applications out there, you wouldn't really want to go out and build a CRM application to compete with those. So consuming that as a SaaS model and figuring out how to integrate it with your enterprise applications and your manufacturing workflows and everything else is really the key. So hybrid goes beyond just infrastructure, and it starts going into the application space where the Oracles of the world are working as hard as they can to accomplish a application ecosystem that can live in the public space and the private space equally and move back and forth.
Fantastic. So closing out, I just want to give you an opportunity to just explain why someone who's watching this may want to choose you as the consulting organization to come in and help them with their streamlining and automation of cloud selection.
So the problems out there today that a lot of these players are facing are not new problems. They're the same problems that have been around for decades. And I've been in the cloud space now, starting with application as a service, ASP world back in 2000, going into infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and it kept changing. The cloud transformed into new marketing terms. I've been at the forefront of all those technologies and have launched some of the key capabilities in the market and helped a lot of my peers build out their infrastructure and solutions as well. So a lot of experience in this space, about 2 decades of experience doing cloud capabilities, bringing them to market, and a lot of management experience before that. So that altogether comes to worn bruises and cuts and that are all healed up, and a quiver full of arrows that help solve these problems. So there's no new problems. It's all the same answers, and fortunately, I've gone through it once or twice.
Fantastic. Thanks for your information. This was great.
My pleasure. Thank you.